Hi, I'm Alvi Albona Varanya from Bachelor of Elementary Education, 3rd year, Lit 1, Section J, Philippine Literature. This is my assignment where the direction is determine the uniqueness of each literary genre and approaches in literacy criticism in the form of recorded video. So let's begin. There are different kinds of approaches in literacy criticism. So these are historical biographical approach, formalism approach, Marxist approach, feminist approach, structuralist approach, moral philosophical approach, mythological and archetypal approach, psychological approach, reader response approach, and the last one is deconstructionalist. And let's define each approaches with their uniqueness. So first, let's go through the historical biographical approach. This approach sees a literature work as a reflection of its author's life and times, or the life and times of the characters in the work. The next approach is formalism approach. This approach focuses on form, organization and structure, word choice and language, and multiple meanings. Consider the work in isolation, disregarding the author's intent, background, context, and anything else outside of the work itself. So from formalism approach, let's go to the next one, which is Marxist approach. It is a type of criticism in which literary works are viewed as a product of work and hence of a realm, production, and consumption we call economics. The next approach is feminist approach. Feminist criticism is concerned of the impact of gender on writing and reading. It is usually begins with a critique of patriarchal culture. It is concerned with the place of female writers in the canon. Feminists often argue that male figures are portrayed through female characters. From feminist approach, let's jump to the next one, which is structuralist approach. Structuralism is a theory of humankind in which all elements of human culture, including literature, are thought to be parts of a system of science. It views literature as a system of science, and they seek to make organizational rules and codes. The next approach is moral philosophical approach. The basic position of such critics is that the larger function of literature is to teach morality and probe philosophical issues. They would interpret literature within a context of philosophical thought of a period or a group. The next approaches are mythological and archetypal approaches. This type of approaches to literature assumes that there is a collection of images, symbols, characters, and motifs, like for example archetypes, that evokes basically the same response in all people. Let's proceed to the next one, which is psychological approach. Psychological critics views work through the lens of psychology. They work either at the psychological motivation of the character or of the authors themselves. The second to the last approach is reader response approach. It analyzes the reader's role in the production of meaning. It lies on the opposite end of spectrum from formalistic criticism. The reader creates the meaning. Finally, the last approach is the deconstructionalist approach. It involves the close reading of the text in order to demonstrate that any given text has irreconcilably contradictory meanings rather than being undefined logical whole. So those are the different kinds of approaches in literacy criticism. And again, this is Elvie Albona Verania. Thank you very much.